Which country is the most corrupt country in the world? And don't Google it. Don't Google it. Oh, you Googled it. And you found South Sudan, right? Right? Wrong. You see, when you use a wrong parameter, the corruption perception index, you will arrive at a wrong answer. And that's what you found on Google. South Sudan being the most corrupt country in the world. But according to Henry Ford, if you want to solve a war, find out who benefits from the war, then you will end the war. So if we draw an inference from that, we can say, if you want to know who or which country is the most corrupt country in the world in an attempt to stopping corruption, then you should find out which countries benefit the most from the proceeds of corruption. And then you'll be able to stop corruption. So in this video, we're looking at the top 5 most corrupt countries in the world from the perspective of following the money, of who stands to benefit the most from corruption. The answers will surprise you. Fasten your seatbelt and let's take this jolly ride. At number 5 is United Arab Emirates, UAE. Shocked, right? Yes. The UAE, yes, they have oil, but a lot of the proceeds from which Dubai is built is corrupt money from African politicians. You see, our corrupt African politicians are very quick to go to Dubai to buy properties. And the kind of properties they buy will shock you. They will buy a 1-room self-contained for almost $1 million. And that's 750 million naira. $1 million for a room self-contained in the name of investment. It's all a trick to lure our corrupt politicians to bring their stolen money to come and invest in their country. And they do this a lot. And you see, the annoying thing is that after they do this, they are quick to chase you away if you are no longer of benefit to them. So number 5 on the list is UAE. At number 4, close to the United Arab Emirates, is the United Kingdom. Contrary to the perception that people have that the United Kingdom is not corrupt, that is simply not true. Remember, I said that we should look at where the money goes. We should follow the money to determine whether or not a country benefits from the proceeds of corruption. You see, corruption is also about demand and supply. If there's no demand, there's no supply. Now, where is the demand? Which countries are safe haven for corrupt money? Number 4 on the list is the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom has perfected its methods for creating safe havens for corrupt money. In fact, they protect corrupt leaders who are able to find their way into the United Kingdom. And they do it through all manner of sector, from the education sector, the health sector, the politically exposed people. Once they are able to find their way into the United Kingdom, then they are protected. So you tell me, if there is a demand, then there will be a supply. If people can put their money into the United Kingdom safely and be protected from prosecution, from extradition, what do you think? Corruption will improve in those countries that are not as smart as the United Kingdom. But trust me, United Kingdom very smart, and that's why they are number 4 on my list of the most corrupt countries in the world. Number 3 is also another shocking number, and at number 3 you have France. France on its own has nothing. They dwell on the proceeds of corruption from Africa, and the way they do this is they don't even give the prerogative to corrupt African leaders. They actually put system in place to kind of subtly force our African leaders to put our resources in their hands. That's why you find out that most French colonies in Africa do not do well. They either have dictators as their president, or they are suffering from coups that you will find out upon investigation are supported officially by soldiers that are linked to France. So that is why France is number 3 on my list of the most corrupt countries in the world. At number 2 of the most corrupt country in the world is the United States of America. Yes, United States of America is number 2 on my list of the most corrupt countries in the world because they have perfected the art of this rat that bites you and blows you breeze. It bites you and blows you breeze. They subtly do things that make it very convenient for them to access our resources and then stop us from developing. They have perfected it. So they make our things look bad and force their own culture on us so that whatever we do, our money goes to them. Whether it is in the music industry, our money goes to them. Entertainment, sports, our money goes to them. In fact, this is also similar to the approach that the United Kingdom is using. They make it such that people do whatever they can do to get money and then come and put those money in the United States of America. So that's why America is number 2 on my list. Guess what? They put their bases. America has about 900 bases, military bases around the world. What do you think those military bases are doing? They are helping to secure America's interest, which actually is in terms of resources they can extract from those countries whose leaders allow themselves to be corruptly manipulated. So, number 2 on the list of top 5 most corrupt countries in the world is the United States of America. Now for the big one, the Oga Patakpata of them all, like MC Edo Pikin will say, the number 1 most corrupt country in the world, using the criteria of follow the money, who stands to benefit the most from proceeds of corruption. And number 1 on the list for today is Switzerland. See, Switzerland has successfully perfected the art for being a safe haven for corrupt money. Once any corrupt leaders in Africa, any corrupt leader in Nigeria is able to steal money and take those money to a Swiss bank, those monies are protected by Swiss bank laws. So you see that Switzerland is built off the proceeds of corruption. The minerals, the resources they have are almost zero, but they dwell and survive based on proceeds, on monies that they get from our corrupt leaders here in Africa, here in Nigeria, and then they then use those monies to develop their country. That's why Switzerland is number 1 on my list of the top 5 most corrupt countries in the world. Now, I told you the criteria that I used to come to this result, and that criteria is the criteria of who stands to benefit the most. Look, if all these 5 countries and others, they come together and they decide that they really want to fight corruption and end corruption in Africa, end corruption in Nigeria, if they decide that they will stop any financial inflows into their countries, corruption in Africa will stop. But no, they won't stop it because they are benefiting from corruption. So they encourage underground our leaders to be corrupt and bring our money to them for safekeeping, and then on the surface they'll pretend as though they are fighting corruption. Do you know that it is very easy to use corrupt money, cash, to buy lands and properties in America, and your money is protected? We need to be smart. We need to know how to deal with these top 5 most corrupt countries so that indeed our country can grow. They are the ones benefiting from the corruption of our leaders. The monies that our leaders steal, they send to them, and they use those monies to develop their countries, create jobs and all that. Meanwhile, our citizens here in Nigeria, in Africa, are suffering abject poverty, suffering joblessness, insecurity, and all that. Do you know that insecurity is even one of the ways that they perpetrate corruption in other countries? Because who sells the weapons? They are. They are the ones that sell the weapons. They are the ones that manufacture the weapons. If you put United States, you put UK, you put France, you put Germany, you put Russia, you put China together, they constitute 85% of the total weaponry of the world. So if those countries put a stop to proliferation of weapons in Africa, then there will be no wars in Africa. Look at what is happening in South Sudan. It is induced by foreign powers in there. Oh, Russia wants to build a military base. America does not want it. And of course, couple that with the gold that Sudan is very rich on. And of course, the conflict provides cover for foreign powers to come and take those resources away. We hear now that the United States of America is sending its military into Sudan to evacuate their citizens. But of course, we know that underground, like it happened in Syria, they take their civilians, and that's a cover. Underground, some of the gold will also go missing. And of course, they'll also sabotage the country so that Russia cannot use it to build their military base. This is why these top 5 most corrupt countries are actually dangerous to Nigeria, dangerous to Africa. And Africans need to wake up to these facts. Now, tell me if you agree with my top 5. It's very possible that you don't.